Good evening, everyone. Today is Tuesday, December 8th. This is a regularly scheduled City Council meeting. As we normally do, we'd like to begin our meeting with a prayer and a salute to our flag. Dear God, today as this session opens, we pray that your presence will be before us and everyone who serves in the decision-making process of our city. We pray for direction which will lead our city to be strong and unified. May we continue the legacy of our founders. May we be granted this day the wisdom to make decisions which will be for the good of our city. We also pray for your special blessing on all those who are working to transform our city to make it a better place to live and work. Amen. Can we now please salute our flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Clerk, could you kindly call the roll?
Counsel Belanger.
Here.
Mayor Elliott.
Here.
Counsel Kennedy.
Here.
Counsel Leahy.
Here.
Counsel Martin.
Here.
Counsel Mercia.
Here.
Counsel Milanazzo.
Here.
Counsel Rourke.
Here.
Counsel Samaras.
Here.
That's 9 present.
Present, we have a very busy agenda and a long agenda, but before we proceed with the agenda, Chair would like to recognize Councilor City Mercia, Councilor Rita Mercia, and Councilor Milanazzo for a moment of silence. Councilor Mercia?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to offer a moment of silence in Darkened Chamber for 3 gentlemen who have very similar backgrounds. These men are Stanley J. Strakowski, Sr., graduate of Lowell High School, Alfred L. Perry Pereira, formerly of Lowell, and Edward J. Chandonnet, Jr., received his education from St. Louis de France and attended St. Joseph's High School. All 3 men answered the call of duty and served their country proudly. Stanley Strakowski served in the United States Navy during World War II and was a proud member of the Polish-American Veterans and served as an honor guard and a sergeant of arms for the State Department's Polish-American veteran. Alfred L. Perry Pereira answered his call when his country needed him, serving in the United States Army during the European campaign of World War II, earning 2 Purple Hearts and a Bronze Star while fighting in the Battle of the Bulge. He was a proud member of the Portuguese American Civic League of Lowell. Edward J. Chandonnet, Jr. proudly served his country as a seaman first class in the United States Navy, aboard the United States Lawrence C. Taylor destroyer escort in the South Pacific. He was a proud member of St. Louis de France Veterans Organization as well as the VFW Walker Rogers Post 662. All 3 gentlemen not only served their country, but returned to join their respective groups, the PAV, which is the Polish-American Veterans, Franco-American War Veterans, and the Portuguese-American Civic Center. These 3 gentlemen represent the men and women of the greatest generation and took pride in not only their city but their country, and they were a credit to their ethnic background. The city has just experienced a great loss, for these 3 men made Lowell a better place because of them being in it. We offer our sympathy to their family, relatives, and many friends. They will be truly missed. I'd also like to offer a moment of silence in Darkened Chamber to all those who have died since our last City Council meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Mercia. Chair would like to recognize Councilor Milanazzo.
Thank you, Mayor Elliott. I'd like to offer a moment of silence in Darkened Chambers for Mary E. Liz Power. Mrs. Power passed away on December 2nd. She's actually from Megansett, Massachusetts, which is part of Falmouth. But I bring her name forward because of her connection to Lowell. She's the mother of John Power, who's the owner of Wanalancet Mill and the Cobham building out on Pawtucket Boulevard. And as we all know, John is a big booster and supporter of everything we do here in the city of Lowell. He's actually the co-chair of the Lowell Plan as well. So out of respect for John, I just wanted to have a moment of silence in Darkened Chambers for his mother who passed away on December 2nd. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilor Milanazzo, as well. Anyone else? If not, seeing none, could we all please rise for a moment of silence? And could we please darken the chambers? May they all rest in peace. So in the last 2 weeks, the city has had a number of celebrations. First, we had the City Lights Parade, and as part of that event, there are a number of awards that are handed out to those participants, and we have invited the winners here this evening from the City Lights Parade, those individuals that took part and decorated floats in a festive manner. So with that, we'd like to begin with the, we have a number of winners. Hold on. So for the float parade contest, we 2 awards were given out. The first one was the City Manager's Community Award, and that award went to Cub Scout Pack 7. Congratulations, nice job. Come on up and get it.
Go ahead, say something like how great the city is. You're my favorite group. Come on, that's why you got it. Say something.
The city is amazing.
Short, sweet, but a very true statement. Thank you very much. Perhaps what we can do just very briefly is we'll give the awards out, and then we'll just have everybody come in and take a picture. Is that okay? Okay. Second award of the evening, we have, again, as part of the parade float contest. This one is the most festive, and this one went to the Girl Scouts of Eastern Massachusetts, who are here with us this evening. Come on up, ladies. Great job. Nice job. So we'll just have everybody come in later, and we'll take a picture. All right?
Oh,
What do you want to take a picture?
yeah. Thank you. Thank you. You want to do it now? Okay. Go ahead, girls. Let's go.
Straight up there.
Thank you.
Great job. Thank you. So we'll continue with the parade float contest. We have this year we had a best use of the theme, and this award went to Jeanne D'Arc Credit Union. Is Jeanne D'Arc here this evening? Hello. Oh, you are. All right, come on up.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We just want a quick picture.
All right.
Yes, okay. We have to have a picture as well. We're not children, but we still want the moment. All right, thank you.
And one more float. Again, a part of the float contest. Most creative. And this award goes to the Greater Lowell, as always. Where are you? Greater Lowell Technical High School. The work you do is amazing. You're going to set the kids here? Or, yeah, come on up then. Come on, Greater Lowell Tech. Don't be bashful. As part of, there was one more Lowell High School. They were awarded, the chorus was awarded. We'll give that next week because most of the members are at the National Honor Society being inducted. But as part of the People's Choice Award, the 2015 City Lights Parade, the celebration, there is a window decorating contest. And the award goes to Bishop's Legacy Restaurant. Is Bishop's here? Bishop's is not here. They'll be here next week. So that concludes our award for the City Lights Parade. Mr. Manager, I'll turn it over to you. Is there another one? I don't have another one. That's why Karen is here this evening. I take that there is another award as part of the celebration, the City Lights celebration. Again, People's Choice Award. And this is for the hot chocolate competition. And the award goes to, how could I forget? I see you in the audience. Brewed Awakening, Andy Jacobson. Great job. So now we'll turn it over to the city manager as part of the City Hall Holiday Open House celebration. There was great competition, and each and every office did a wonderful job in celebrating the holiday season by decorating the offices and almost each and every crevice and hallway here at City Hall. So with that, we have 3 awards, so we'll turn it over to you, Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Like you say, all the offices were spectacular. They're still decorated if you want to come back and see City Hall in the next few days. But there has to be a winner, and number 1 for the best decorated City Hall office, the winner is the Assessor's Office.
2 years running. So
The
why don't
city
we-
is wonderful.
So why don't we'll give out all the awards, and then we'll take one group picture. How's that? All right.
Perfect. Okay, and for the best hosted, this actually, it was a tie. And we have for the best hosted offices is the Water Department, tied with the Senior Center and Veteran Services.
So while we're waiting for the people here in the audience and at home, there is a voting process that takes place. That anyone that comes to City Hall is given a ballot. They tour all the offices and they make the individual vote. So this is truly a democratic process, right? We'll take the picture, yeah. So can we have the 3 award winners come on in, and we'll take the picture.
So, Mr. Mayor,
Councilor Mercia.
And if you go by the Pawtucket Boulevard, you will see the water utility outside, very festively decorated with the red, white, and blue Christmas tree with red, white, and blue lights and a yellow bow. And you will see the abdominal snowman up in a tower, and he's waving. So it's quite remarkable, and I invite everybody to take a ride by and see the display. It's beautiful. A lot of work went into it.
Pawtucket Boulevard, Lowell Water Treatment Plant. What's the address?
815 Pawtucket Boulevard.
815 Pawtucket Boulevard.
Yep.
Great job.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much. Nice work, Bucky. So that concludes sort of the extra activities tonight at the council meeting. Anything else? Nope. Okay, so we'll refer back to the regularly scheduled meeting agenda. The first item we have under Mayor's business, we have a communication from the Veterans Commission. They've met a couple of times, and I've asked them to come in to get a report on the progress, the first Veterans Commission in the state. So if we have the chairman and the vice chairman, Mr. Bill Flanagan and John McDonald, who have been meeting regularly. And so if we'd like you to give a discussion or an update on maybe some items you've been working on, but certainly the focus is the dedication of a dedicated parking space for wounded warriors. Mr. Flanagan, welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, City Manager, City Clerk, all the folks here in the City Council. John, would you like to join me?
Why don't we just take
I'm
1
Bill
minute?
Flanagan. I'm chair of the
close those
Veterans
doors.
Commission. It's only fair that I start my presentation, which will be a brief one, with reading the charge that we operate under. The City of Lowell's Veterans Commission is hereby established for the purpose of promoting the local needs of veterans, coordinating veterans activities through the city, and assisting the City of Lowell Veterans Services Department in providing assistance to veterans. Based on that short sentence, we, as the Veterans Commission, we have met 4 times this year through the months of August through November. We've conducted these meetings. We have met and we've conducted meetings. We've started the legwork to create veterans ID programs. We've had guest speakers. We've worked with the Greater Lowell Veterans Councils and also with the commanders of the various American Legion and VFW posts in the city. We've attended various public functions. We've had guest speakers. We've arranged for the State Secretary of Veterans Affairs, Secretary Urena, to come to our meeting. In fact, he'll be at our January meeting. And tomorrow evening, State Senator
State Rep James Arcero.
State Rep Arcero will be at our meeting tomorrow to talk about a bill that he's filed for veterans tuition at state institutions. We're working on a parking program for the wounded warriors. Now that's, when you talk about wounded warriors, it's a generic term, and a lot of us sometimes really are uncertain as to what a wounded warrior is. But it's any veteran who's been injured in the line of service. And now this is a program to provide designated parking spaces in front of public buildings, similar to handicap parking spaces that we now know. And we'll be working with the city engineers. And I don't know if the members of the council can see this facsimile, but this is what a similar sign will look like. Now, this similar sign is similar to this, but really hasn't been worked on very closely, but we'll be working with the city engineers to develop a type of sign that will come before you folks. Also, we're working with the city assessor's office on a veterans ID program. It'll be a small card that can be issued to veterans. We have a legal opinion from the assessor's office as to what this card program will look like, But once the program and the policy is created, it'll come back before the city council through the administration. And once it's in place, then every citizen in Lowell who's a veteran can take advantage of this program. Right now, a veteran, man or woman, can have inserted on their driver's license at the bottom right-hand side an indication that they're a veteran, and they can take that to most retail outlets that offer discounts to veterans, and they'll be given a discount. But the Lowell ID card can take a place of that to show they're a veteran. So that's a program that's been initiated through Eric Lamarche, and it's a program that our Veterans Commission will put in place. So once again, we've been working on that program to create a Veterans ID. We've had guest speakers. We'll have the Secretary of Veterans Affairs. We'll have State Rep Jim Acero at our meeting. We're hoping to set up Facebook pages, and we're looking to work on dedicated parking spaces at public buildings. And we've also arranged to have other veterans come before us with individual concerns that they have. So we're an open meeting, it's once a month, and we invite any veteran, any veterans group to come before us, and we're open to go to their meetings. We're getting the word out, and we're a welcoming place for veterans that have concerns, where we look at ourselves as a bridge to veterans and veterans groups that have a concern. We're an open group, and we're welcoming everybody and anyone to come to our meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Flanagan. Thank you
And
for that update.
We as a group thank the city manager and the mayor for the creation of our group. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much. And I know you've been very busy, and I think those are all great items, particularly that Wounded Warrior parking spot for our Wounded Warriors, and that will come back to the council.
Good. Thank you.
Some point in time. So, Mr. McDonald, I know that you and I were involved with the school committee relative to the distribution of books to in our elementary school. I know there's been some success and feedback on that before and after the Veterans Holiday. So if you just briefly give us an update on that.
Yeah, certainly. And just to reiterate, our Veterans Commission meeting is tomorrow night at 6 o'clock at the Mayor's Reception Room, and we encourage all veterans or anyone that's interested in learning about the Jim Acero, Representative Acero's bill that he's proposing to help with not only tuition but fees associated with education, are welcome to come tomorrow night at 6. But your request, Mr. Mayor, is give a little information. Veterans Assisting Veterans, which is a veterans group that I'm associated with. Some members of the Veterans Commission are associated with as well. Some honorary board members on this council. We donated a book called Veterans Heroes in Our Neighborhoods. We donated one book per first grade classroom here in Lowell. And it was accepted, the gift was accepted by the Lowell School Committee. It was distributed sometime before Veterans Day. And I'm proud to say that Veterans Assisting Veterans has received, I would say, hundreds of thank you letters from school kids throughout the city of Lowell, thanking us for our donation, and we've gotten a lot of letters and feedback from the teachers and principals throughout the Lowell area as well to thank us for this book, which is a good educational tool, helps young kids understand what veterans are, who they are in the neighborhood. A veteran that served in World War II, they might be a butcher or an electrician in your neighborhood, that type of theme, so it's been very, very good. And lastly, on behalf of the Lowell Veterans Commission, we recognize that it's one of Councilor Martin's last meetings, and we want to, on behalf of the Lowell Veterans Commission, want to thank him for his service to our city and appreciate everything that he's done. So that's it. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Flanagan, and Mr. McDonald. Thank you for your service to the country, and thank you for what you're doing for all the veterans of this community. With that, Ms. Lydia Sisson just came in. You were the Grand Marshal. We already gave the awards out, but we wanted to take an opportunity to thank you. Thank you for being such a wonderful host and Grand Marshal of the parade. So great. And they walked the parade route. They didn't drive in a convertible. We just wanted to recognize you and thank you as well. Do you want to say a few words or?
So I'm only half of the team tonight.
Right.
Francie Slater was also the other Grand Marshal, and we were honored and extremely flattered to be chosen as Grand Marshals. And thank you so much for the warm welcome. And so we really couldn't have been more flattered by the opportunity. So thank you so much for choosing us and having us be part of your wonderful celebration. So thanks.
Great, thank you. I know we have a 7 o'clock public hearing, but beforehand, again, this is just great news. If there's no objection, I want to just suspend the rules to ask Larry Finn, Lowell firefighter from the fire department, just to come up. And he didn't want to. We had to really urge him to come and speak here tonight. But we read a letter at the school committee meeting just 2 weeks ago about the great work that you did in raising money and getting coats for the kids and the distribution of them to the Lowell through the Lowell Public Schools, and I'd just like you to come up, Larry. Motion to suspend the rules by Council Mercer, seconded by Council Milanazo. All those in favor signify by saying aye, and the opposed, that motion carries. So, Chief and Mr. Finn, thank you for coming. If you just let us know, you come before us, letting us know what you were raising money for, and tonight I asked you to come just to let you know the incredible work that you did and how many people you helped in this city with winter coats.
Thank you. On behalf of the Fire Department, Local 853, this is a group effort. It's not just the department. The whole city helps out with this. This year, we collected about 500 used coats. In October 24th, we had an open house at the firehouse here on Moody Street for 5 hours. We opened the doors at 9 o'clock. I took a picture. There were 80 people standing in line at 8 o'clock in the morning, and the line never stopped till we ran out of coats. So there is a need. We're going to continue to do this for many years. But we also, the last 2 years, were able to buy brand new coats for kids in the Lowell school system. We spent $5,000 last year. We spent $6,000 this year. Approximately 160 kids on October the 4th came to Kohl's in Chelmsford with their parents, picked out their own coat, and went home with it. We wrote out a check at the end of the day. Two big donations were Lockheed Martin in Chelmsford. They did a pizza party and gave us $830 through a family friend. And DCU, Digital Federal Credit Union, this year gave us a total of $2,750 for the coat drive. So there's money out there, and we'll find it, and we're going to buy more coats. I'd like to buy 20 for every school next year if possible. So what we did at the coat giveaway at Kohl's, we had all the kids sign a poster-sized thank you, and I hand-delivered them to Lockheed Martin. And because I want the kids to realize what this is all about. Because if we can get it going with the kids, it'll continue. So thank you for your time, and thank you for, the chief lets us use the department. We have a storage area where we keep the coats. We collect them all year, so anyone can drop them off. And if you want to make a donation, we have an account at Enterprise Bank. The name of the account is Coats from Man Above, and we have one also at the Firefighters Credit Union, same name, Coats from Man Above. No one gets a salary, no one ever will. Every penny is used to buy coats. So thank you very much, and thank you for letting us do it for the city.
Well, we want to thank you, Mr. Finn, for all the work that you did.
Mr. Mayor? I, too, would like to personally thank Firefighter Larry Finn for all of his hard work over the years. As time has gone on, this program's gotten bigger and bigger, and he's taken care of more and more needy children and adults around the city. And I'd also like to thank all the firefighters for donating their time, for all their hard work, for going out with their boot drives and raising money, and for helping Larry to distribute these coats at a time of year when it's most needed. So, again, I thank you, Larry.
Thanks, Chief.
So I do know that we have a lengthy agenda, but we have, I know that we're going to suspend the rules to bring some items in, but let's proceed with just a couple items, and we have a general public hearing, advertised for 7 p.m. So the first item we have, under the city clerk, we have minutes of the city council meeting of November 24th for acceptance. Motion to accept and place on file by Council Samaras, second by Council Rourke. All those in favor of that motion signify by saying aye. The opposed, motion carries. The minutes are accepted and placed on file. We'll now proceed with the general public hearing that was scheduled for 7 p.m. Excuse me. The first item is an order of taking and acceptance of 80 Way and Eklund Drive. So that is a second reading. We'll now open up this portion of the public hearing for anyone wishing to speak in favor of this order of taking and acceptance. Now open up this public hearing. Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor? Anyone in favor? In favor? Seeing none, that portion of the public hearing is closed. We'll now open up this portion of the public hearing for anyone wishing to speak in opposition. In opposition? Is there anyone opposed? Seeing none, we will also close that portion of the public hearing as well. What is the wish of the body?
Move approval.
Motion to refer this to the clerk's office for 7 days by Councilor Mercia, seconded by Councilor Milanazzo. All those in favor of that motion signify by saying aye. And the opposed, that motion carries as well. Next public hearing that was advertised for 7 p.m. Is a vote, and the vote is to adopt the minimal residential factor for 2016. That is the second reading. Before we open the public hearing, Mr. Manager, do you have a brief presentation for us on this item?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor, and through you, I'll begin with our Chief Financial Officer, Connor Baldwin.
Mr. Baldwin?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Manager. If I could get this to work, sorry. There we go. All right, just to briefly summarize, the minimum residential factor represents the percentage of the tax levy to be paid by the residential properties in the city. The figure that you see up on the screen, the .849849, is the same as the number in the vote that's before this body tonight and represents the maximum shift of the tax burden away from the residential class allowed under the law.
As you know, the key impetus of this council is to fund the three pillars of our administration: education, public safety, and economic development. This slide sets out the successes that this council has had in fiscal year 15 funding these three pillars. But there's one that I want to point out that I think is most significant, and that's the top one. 2 years ago, the city of Lowell was in the negative for net school spending for over $3 million. And I'm pleased to announce, through the efforts of this city council in the past 2 fiscal year budgets, as we sit here this evening, by the school department's own calculations, we are projected to exceed net school spending in fiscal year 15 by $1.1 million. So through the efforts of this city council, we have done a complete turnabout when it comes to supporting education in the city of Lowell.
Can you hit the next slide details the information, the efforts by the city manager to pursue all avenues available to minimize the FY16 tax impact of the budget. During the budget hearings, the manager pledged to utilize any and all new growth in excess of the amount included in the budget to reduce the taxes. This and other efforts of the manager reduced the potential increase to the average single-family tax bill by 36%.
So, after all is said and done, the average single-family home will increase in value by $12,552 in fiscal year 16. So if you combine this with the change to the levy, this represents an annual tax increase of $119 for the average single-family home in the city of Lowell. So the next slide that isn't coming up, and let me just explain, it's in your, well, no, one back, there it is. This shows, as I just said, that the average single-family home bill will increase by $119. But that doesn't mean that every bill is going to increase by $119. As a matter of fact, as this slide shows, there are differences in different homes on this slide. Some are going to increase more than the $119. Some are going to decrease below $119. And as you can see on the top one, the home owned by our chief financial officer, he showed himself no leniency here at all. His bill will be going up $623. And if you scroll down to Newbury Street, the home of the city manager, his home will be going up $245. But you can also see that there are other homes that are going to be going down, and it's all based upon the values of the home and coupled with the amount of the tax levy that we need to collect. This next slide shows the difference, the different properties and how they make up the valuation. As you can see, the residential is far and away the biggest component of our fiscal year 16 valuation. But the thing I wanted to point out to the City Council and the people watching at home is that note below. And that is that exempt property, that is property in the city of Lowell that pays no taxes at all, equals 25% of the total value in the city of Lowell. So 25% of property in the city of Lowell pays no taxes whatsoever. And finally, I know what really only matters is what the city of Lowell taxpayers are paying, but I just wanted to show a slide giving you a summary of the tax increases for surrounding towns in the city of Lowell and some communities in situations like the city of Lowell, and you'll see that the city of Lowell tax increase is one of the lowest in the area. I think that the finance team has done a wonderful job putting together this proposal for the City Council. We have used every opportunity, every pool of money to lower the tax increase as much as we can, and I congratulate them, and I hope the City Council adopts the measure this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Just one quick question right off the bat. We are adopting the minimum. We are, when we tell the people at home we're adopting the minimal residential factor, that's the lowest amount that we can adopt.
Absolutely. This benefits the residences the most that you can benefit them.
Okay. And can you just speak to the taxable, non-taxable property? It's the university, it's churches, it's nonprofit agencies?
It's group homes, it's charter schools, it's every social service agency in the city, and it totals up to 25%. Pays no taxes whatsoever. Lowell General Hospital, and that's a significant amount of properties paying no tax.
Generally, Mr. Manager, that's a percentage that has maybe increased slightly, but my understanding or recollection, it typically hovers around 25%.
Yes, correct.
Those are all my questions. Any other questions from the members of the council? Comments? Okay, so we'll now open up this portion of the public hearing for anyone that is wishing to speak in favor. Anyone in favor? Anyone wishing to speak in favor? Seeing none, we'll close that portion of the public hearing. We'll now open up this portion of the public hearing for anyone who wishes to speak in opposition. Anyone opposed to the minimal residential factor? Seeing none, we'll close that portion of the public hearing as well. What is the wish of the body? Councilor Marcia?
I propose that the least burden possible be placed on the residential taxpayers.
Motion to adopt by Councilor Marcia. Seconded by Councilor Kennedy. Further discussion on this? Roll call.
Counsel Belanger.
Yes.
Mayor Elliott.
Yes.
Counsel Kennedy.
Yes.
Counsel Leahy.
Yes.
Counsel Martin.
Yes.
Counsel Mercia.
Yes.
Counsel Milonazo.
Yes.
Counsel Rourke.
Yes.
Counsel Samaras.
Yes.
That's 9 yeas.
9 yeas. That concludes the general public hearings. General public hearings, excuse me, yes. We now have, we've got one utility public hearing, that is with Comcast. We'll now read the second reading by title, and this is from Comcast. Request installation of a new vault and conduit at 59 Technology Drive. We'll now open up this portion of the public hearing for anyone wishing to speak in favor. Yes, sir, your name?
Good evening. My
and
name
address
is
for the record?
Dave Llewellyn from Comcast. I'm a utility coordinator. I'd like to speak in favor of the petition to allow Comcast to place a conduit on Carl Street and Technology Drive for the purpose of providing service to 59 Technology Drive. I know that the business owner is anxious and hopeful that we could get this installation in this year before the winter. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor? Anyone else in favor? In favor, seeing none, we'll close that portion of the public hearing. Is there anyone wishing to speak in opposition? We will now open up this portion of the public hearing for anyone who is opposed. Anyone in opposition? In opposition, seeing none, we will close that portion of the public hearing as well. Need a motion to refer this to the wire inspector for report and recommendation by Council Martin, second by Council Leahy. All those in favor of that motion signify by saying aye. And the opposed? Motion passes. Send that off to the wire inspector. That concludes public hearings. Before we proceed, I'd like to entertain a motion to suspend the rules by Council Samaras, second by Council Rourke, to take an item out of order. Council Samaras?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I'd like to take motion 9.5 out of order. We have some speakers here tonight. Motion.
Okay, motion made and seconded. All those in favor of that motion signify by saying aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Rules are suspended. We'll take 9.5 out of order. Motion by Council Samaras. Request city manager provide a report on the placement of parking meters in the Couple Square Business District. Seconded by Council Rourke. Council Samaras.
Thank you. To the city manager, to the council, we know that when we enhance neighborhood business districts, that parking meters become inevitable to ensure the availability of spaces. The purpose of this report is to request the city manager give us a report so the people who are living in the Lower Highlands area or the Couple Square area understand why parking meters have been placed there and the purpose and hopefully what the expected benefits are. But when I made this motion, I had a number of calls from constituents asking to be able to come and speak here tonight to further request information regarding parking meter situation in the Couple Square area. So, Mr. Mayor, we have, I think, several speakers.
We have several registered speakers. Mr. Manager, did you have a response? We want to hear from the speakers.
No, we can hear from the speakers.
Mr. Clark?
Camera K.
Good evening, Mr. Kay. If you could just give us your name and address for the record.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. My name is Camera Kay. I reside at 273 Walker Street. And is all the information you need?
In Lowell, yes, thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Manager, and members of the council. Thank you for allowing me to speak, to have the opportunity to speak tonight in regard to the Leroy parking in the Couple Square. I'm here to speak tonight as a patron, a customer, and an advocate to improve economic development within the area itself. Before I continue, I want to acknowledge some of the argument as to why the parking meter should be created or placed in vicinity. One, it is to improve or prevent long-term parking that could interfere with patrons to park in that area. Two, it is to prevent an overnight parking. I respectfully disagree with both of the arguments. One, if customer not have a long-term parking in the Leroy parking lot, patrons and customers will eventually park on Westwood Street, Osgood Street, Coral Street, Hastings Street, Loring Street, and Pine Street, which it does not have a parking meter installed. Those streets that I have mentioned are reserved for residential parking only. Furthermore, patrons and customers will not park overnight. Only residents in that area do. However, the only time that the area is congested at night is when Hong Kong restaurant has an event. I know for the fact that cars will dissipate no later than 12:30 at night time. And here's what I know. Business owners and I have had conversation that I have a conversation with do not want to have any parking meter. They have expressed their concern of losing customers to their competitors. Prior to the Leroy parking meters goes active, business owners have already lost some of those customers already. The customers do not want to pay for the parking fee. I do agree with some of the business owners and customers for that aspect. Economically speaking, the Couple Square business will see a reduction in customer base, decrease in monetary spending, and most of all, tax-based collection for the city itself. From a patron and a customer point of view, I could go to any other market on Middlesex Street. However, the parking congestions would force me to park on the roadside, which lead to safety issue by crossing the street itself. And also, I could go an additional mile or so into Drum Hill or Market Basket, which eventually will lose the tax base to the city itself. Not only if, but when customer and I go to Hannaford at Drum Hill, businesses and the city lose revenue and tax base. Therefore, here's my proposal that most of the people and businesses are comfortable with. 1, an hour grace period for all meters parking. 2, free parking during the weekend. 3, while the parking meter is not active, a request to have it covered up. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, City Manager, and the City Council for allowing me to speak.
Thank you, Mr. Kay. Mr. Clark?
Era on.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and our city councilor and those who may concern. I'm a business owner on Westwood Street, 296 Westwood Street. And so far, I just want to straight to the point. So far, I lost 50 to like 70% of my income because of the sign so far right now. That's why today we bring a lot of petitions. So I hope you can take a look. And as he said, it really hurt our, not just really feeling, but both residential customer and business owner around over there. If you walk and knock to the door, they start to lose. Right now, and I also request that, the mirror, they put mirror over there, it's broken, it doesn't work. Why don't we just put the sign like out of order or something like that, and people get confused to put it, and I would like to suggest one thing, just real quick. You see the really good example from behind us over here, the library. We have 2-hour limit. So why don't we have like at least 1 hour too, for free parking? And during the time, let's say people have a haircut or travel company, they cannot have a halfway haircut and go for the extra cons. And yeah, we only one day we bring over 400 petition customer, and we are really concerned about that, and also the traffic too. And at least 1 hour, that's all we need. And thank you, and have a good, wonderful upcoming holiday. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Clark?
Champa Pang.
Good evening, Mayor and City Councilors. Thank you for having me here today. In response to the meter being placed on at the Leroy Street parking lot, even though it's not working as we have been notified, a lot of the patrons have actually avoided parking there and have gone to neighboring businesses. only because they feel and they do not understand the meter system. Not only that, they want to avoid the expiration of a meter and getting tickets and paying a late fee if they do not get to pay. We have to understand the market and the patrons, and they know the background of these customers. They're mostly parents of our older generation, and they're assembly workers, which means their education level is not all that high. Anyone that has a higher education or the younger generation, we actually really don't invest a lot of time into the local businesses. We do have a lot of patronage outside of Lowell, and we choose to eat at the restaurants outside of Lowell and get our haircuts outside of Lowell. But the customers that do spend money at Kelpa Square are, like I said, the older generations. They do not read, most of them do not read Cambodian. So even if you add the Cambodian language to the meters, that's not going to help. Most of the time, like I had explained to Kevin Coughlin, if they were to come into the downtown area to use the meters, they would have to have their children come with them in order to operate those meters. With the assembly workers, they just want to be in and out, make the purchase, and go home. They really do not want to put in the effort. There is a lot of people that has voiced their opinion, and we gave it some time to see if it will die down, but it seems like it's having an adverse effect where people are purchasing their services and goods at neighboring businesses without parking meters. So I had gone forward and put together a petition, and these signatures are only for one day. That was yesterday on a Monday that we received about 400 signatures on this petition. That was not even during the weekend. The patrons and the business owners are very concerned with the outcome and the response to the meters being placed. They are aware that there is going to be a meter placed, but they did not anticipate the adverse effect. Thank you, and please consider allowing for the 1 hour free for the patrons.
Thank you, Ms. Pang. Mr. Clerk?
Lewis Haskell.
Lewis Haskell, I'm here on behalf of 16 Pine Realty Trust, 16 Pine Street in Lowell. Basically, there is no issue but that our neighbors across the street have been adversely affected and will be further affected by the imposition of parking meters. And that's been made very clear in meetings that we've had. And I really commend, by the way, Champa and Cam for the work that they've done in putting people together and talking through this issue. And I think that they've come up with a very, very modest proposal, which I think will nevertheless mitigate much of the hardship that is being caused to these businesses by simply asking for 1 hour free. It'll have no impact on the parking situation. I mean, that meters are supposed to address. If you stay longer, either you have to pay or you get ticketed. So it's only I appreciate that it is a revenue issue, but that's all it is in terms of the impact on the businesses. However, it mitigates dramatically. I also want to address, however, because I am on the other side of the street and thus not directly affected by this, that we are indirectly affected. There is a ripple effect to putting these meters in the Leroy lot in that it now tends to drive traffic or drive parking into the square itself and into the adjacent areas, thus eventually impacting those of us on the other side of the street. Of course, we at 16 Pine Street have our own parking lot, and you would think that we would be unaffected, but you would be mistaken. We already serve involuntarily, but calmly, as the overflow parking lot for Couple Square. We are private property. People who aren't doing business at 16 Pine are not allowed, but we try to be good neighbors, and we have done our best. And by that I mean we have already done our best. To the extent that you start driving more into the square and thus there's more overflow from the square, our ability to accommodate it is limited, to say the least. And actually, I would like to take this opportunity to say we have invested, as a result of what we see happening, in better surveillance for our parking lot this winter in case we do, unfortunately, have to push back, which is going to be hurtful to us, and frankly, a very unfair burden to place upon us. We don't have the ability of simply writing a $25 ticket. It's either tow or let people stay. And when it doesn't matter, we've been very good about letting people stay. But we have tenants. Our tenants have employees. Our tenants have customers. We owe a duty to those people. To everybody else, we just tried our best to be a good neighbor. And as I say, we have done our best. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney Haskell. Is that it, Mr.? No, one more, Mr. Clerk.
Pizza.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Mr. City Manager. I just appreciate it. You did a great job on the square. And I speak behalf of the Hong Kong market and Hong Kong restaurants and all the small business owners around the square. By all these people here work very hard to build up their business, to make a living. And now today that what we all here is for, to ask the city mayor or the manager that all we ask one 3-hour parking. That's all we ask for, which is enough time for the customer to do shopping or whatever they need to come to give, do their business around the square. That's all I can say. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Clerk?
Last speaker is Vesta Nunn.
Mr. Noon, welcome back to the chamber. Nice to see you.
Thank you, Mayor Elliott, Mr. Manager, and Council. Thank you for Councilor Smaras for putting the motion on. I know the manager have done a great job in the infrastructure of Couple Square. I've met with some of the business owners we did a couple weeks ago. They did express exactly what all the speakers have spoke of, the concern of losing customer, not only concerned, but also they have seen it the last couple of weeks, although the meter has not been enforced yet. People go there, people who know how to feed the meter, did feed the meter, and the customer have spoke of the losing revenues, or customers for that matters. So that because of this administration and this council, one of their goals is to support local businesses owners, and this is a request that they're asking, is that one free parking, for the first hours. That certainly address some of the concern that other people have had about long-term parking. They said, no problem, my customer coming in for restaurants, eating, or hair salon, or shopping, food, vegetables, and whatnot. 1 hour should be sufficient for my customer. Anything beyond that, they will pay. So I hope that the council and the manager look into this and support the local businesses as it is your goal and your objective. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Good night.
Thank you, Mr. Noon. That concludes our speakers. So with that, Councilor Samaras and then City Manager.
Thank you. Mr. Manager, as I stated before, we know when we improve a neighborhood, such a business neighborhood especially, parking meters and those type of things become part of the process to, we'll say, ensure the availability of parking spaces and other things. The purpose of my motion originally was to make sure that people were aware of what changes were taking place. Because I really feel when we make a motion on this floor, and it's either put into the paper what has happened, or your explanations are given, and it gives people a good understanding of how their tax dollars are being spent and what is being done. After I had made this motion, I started to receive calls, a different type of calls, saying that people were concerned about the spaces. All I would be asking at this particular point is the same report, a report on why it happened and what the expectations are by putting parking meters into the neighborhood area. I really think when people get to understand why something is being done, they're more accepting. And that's the purpose of my motion at this particular time. So it doesn't really require an answer at this point, but at some point when you have dealt with some of the issues that they've brought up and the basic issues of why we do something like that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. We have Councilor Samaras and Councilor Kennedy. Mr. Manager, do you have anything to add, or you're just going to take it all in and get back to the council?
No, obviously, I listened to all of the concerns. We'll continue to investigate this, but I do want to correct one thing that a speaker incorrectly stated. There is no residential parking on Westford or Pine Street or Osgood. There's no parking at all reserved for residents in that area, so it's open to everybody to park in the area.
But there are some spaces, Mr. Manager, dedicated to a particular piece of property, right?
Yes, the previous administration allowed the Caleb Foundation to reserve some parking spots in the Leroy parking lot. We are working with them right now because it doesn't appear that they need all of the spaces that are allotted to them. So we're working with them to try and reduce the amount of spaces available there.
Okay, great, thank you. Councilor Belanger and then Councilor Kennedy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do appreciate Councilor Samaras bringing this motion forward. I've walked a couple square businesses with him, and I know he has nothing but the best intentions for those businesses in the couple square. But this needs to be looked at with a fine tooth, with a microscope, if you will. The couple square district is a very, very successful business corridor, and we do not want to do anything that directly affects that. And with the city investing $1.5 million into curb appeal, I expect things to get even better. So, I mean, the census, I've been to meetings in the district, and the few I've talked to really are not keen on parking meters. I mean, things different. As we go throughout the downtown and into the neighborhood corridors, the problems differ. In downtown, we have large mills that often occupy hundreds of units in each building with no parking, so they take to the street. I don't think Couple Square is as densely populated, and most of the dwellings have off-street parking for themselves. So I don't think residents taking to this area is really all that a problem. And we do have to consider, I know 1 free hour often came up in the conversation. Well, if the city's going to invest millions of dollars in parking kiosks, it's going to have to work for us. And if we're going to offer 1 hour free parking, it's just not going to be feasible. So I think there are some serious things we need to look at this before we even consider installing parking meters in this district. What I would like to do is make a motion on the floor to refer this to the city manager for a study and report and meet with the businesses. I don't want to vote hastily tonight. If I was to vote tonight, I don't think I would support this. I really don't think there's a need for it. I think as I look at it right now, that it's best we probably leave Couple Square alone. It's doing just fine as it is. We've just invested a tidy sum of money there, and businesses are doing fantastic due to the hard work of these people who work day in and day out, who just spoke in front of us. And I know what it's like to be directly affected by parking. I know it all too well. And I do not want to see that happen to these people in this district. So I would like to, again, keep the motion on the floor and hope for a second to refer this, Mr. Manager, to you and meet with businesses and see what their feeling is on this. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Councilor. The motion was made and seconded to have the manager to do that. So with that, Councilor Kennedy?
Large part, Mr. Manager, there's been a lot of improvement up in Couple Square, and I think that one of the things that's made that flourish as a local business district is that there's a collaboration amongst the property owners and the retailers up in that area. And I think that it's something that we want to see continue. And so if they come if they come to us through Council Samaras and through the people that spoke today, asking that we make changes in the current parking situation up there, I think that's reasonable. I think 1 hour free parking is a reasonable thing to expect. I think no parking on weekends is reasonable for that area as well. But I think that, and I would hope that your report would include the revenue side. In other words, for how much revenue are we getting from parking up in that area right now? And maybe it's not all that much. And if it isn't all that much, then it seems to me that it would be pretty easy to go ahead with what the petitioners are asking. And so, so I look forward to the report. I think it's a good motion by Councilor Samaras, and I just commend everybody that's up in Couple Square, all of the businesses and the property owners up there. I think they've done a great job, and I think that they've worked together, and I think that Couple Square really is almost a model for how you would want all of your local business districts to operate as a collaborative effort. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Kennedy. Councilor Leahy.
Sure, thank you. I'd just like to add that I agree, so I'll look forward to the report, but I would think that up in that area, if we could take a look at 2-hour parking and enforce that without the meters, that's what I'd be looking at, but, wait to see the full report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Leahy. Further discussion on this motion? If there's no objection, I'd just like to say a couple of words from the podium here. I have been out there, and there is a slight problem with residents parking there overnight and long term, but that seems to, perhaps that can be remedied by 1 hour parking. Similarly, Mr. Mayor, just a question on, we created 28 new spaces as a result of the realignment of Couple Square. How is that going to work? 'Cause I know some of the problems sometimes is the employees or owners, they park and take the spots that may be used for their customers. So on Westford Street, is that going to be, that's free parking? It'll remain free?
I've been driving through this square since I was born, and it's always been awful to get through the square because of the double parking, because there's no spaces available on Westford Street to allow people to go into the stores to buy their goods. When we went up there, my proposal was to put parking meters on Westford Street so that there would be a constant turnover of spaces. The businesses were 100% against that, so I agreed with them that we would not put any parking meters on Westford or Pine or anywhere else on the main streets. And we haven't put any parking meters. We have no plans to put parking meters there. But at the same time, I told them that there's a real problem with the Leroy parking, is that there were people that were just parking there forever, and there were no spots for the customers. When I was a kid, I used to park in the Leroy lot, and I'd go through the walk-through to shop in Couple Square. You can't do that today. So what I did say is that for two reasons, we would put some parking meters in the Leroy lot. One was to allow for customers to have spots available to frequent the businesses. And second of all, to pay for the maintenance of the Leroy lot. We have to pave the Leroy lot. We have to plow it in the winter. We have to maintain the lighting in the Leroy lot. We do that all across the city in different lots. There are different neighborhoods in business corridors that have lots similar to the Leroy lot. And the reason that we have parking meters in there is to pay for the maintenance of those lots. So I thought it was a reasonable compromise, but I will again look into it and try and appease the business owners to the best of our abilities.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Manager. So to the speakers and the business owners and those individuals working with the businesses, the manager will be in touch with you to come to a compromise. We hear you loud and clear. It's a successful business district, and we want it to continue and make this work. So thank you for coming down. Council Mercia?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you to the city manager. So am I to assume that you're now going to do the same thing on Bridge Street?
Mr. Manager?
No, I didn't say that, but I'm just saying
I'm asking you if you're going to do that.
No, I have no plans at this point in time.
Do we own city property parking lots on Bridge Street?
Yes. And we have them over on University Avenue. We have a city-owned parking lot on University Avenue that people pay meters to be in. And I'm sure there's other
I know
lots
in
across the city.
Pawtucketville, there's meters in Pawtucketville.
Yeah.
There's meters now going to be on, at the Leroy lot, but there's not going to be any meters on Bridge Street
No.
and the city parking lots?
I'm not, I'll have to follow up on the city parking
Because
lots.
if you're going to do to one, you better be consistent.
Right.
You don't just do to these people and not the others, because that's not fair. Not fair. And I do appreciate the fact that they're asking for an hour off. These are businesses that go along there, and there's no empty storefronts, thanks to the businesses that are there. I understand that you're putting meters there. I understand that. We need to get some revenue for the lighting and the plowing. I understand that. But I want to be fair all the way around. And they're willing to compromise, and they're only asking for an hour, and I don't have a problem with that.
So, Mr. Manager, just to clarify, there are meters in all of the other city-owned lots, Mr. Manager?
I'm just saying, I'm not going to say they're in all of the lots. We will do an inventory, but I know there are lots that there are meters in. I can specifically think of the one over behind the businesses. It's got the Gershom lot over in Pawtucketville.
Yes, there's meters there.
Yes,
But there's Bridge Street area, and there's city lots there, and there's no meters.
Okay.
And I really wish there was no meters anywhere, but if you're gonna do for one, you're gonna do for the whole city, or you're not gonna do at all.
And I
That's
just
my
wanted to
opinion.
add one thing, is part of this parking plan that we developed is right near the walkway that goes out from the Leroy lot to Couple Square. We have reserved 5 30-minute parking spaces for consumers that can park there for 30 minutes without paying any fee.
Councilman Linazzo?
I thank you, Mr. Mayor. In the spirit of Councilor Mercia's idea of being fair, I would also like to have the manager look at either a half an hour or 1 hour free parking in the downtown garages as well. I think that that's something that we've talked about before, and I think it's something that we should look at as part of this report. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anything further on it? Councilor Samaras?
No, thank you. I mean, my colleagues, there's a lot of discussion about this. I mean, you can see how sometimes a simple project can be so complex, I mean, to try to please everybody. But I think the purpose of this report and what's happening with this report now, it'll give the city manager's office a chance to review completely the policy it has in Couple Squares, as it will with all other business areas, because we are attempting to work in the Bridge Street area to make that a better area, to work in Pawtucketville, make that a better area, all of those areas. So I think with this report, it will help us in the future deciding some direction that will go on, that will be uniform in nature. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Anything further on this motion? Councilor Rourke.
Thank you, Mr. Manager, to the manager. In your report, Mr. Manager, I'd like you put in the report how it benefits any city business, how free parking would assist any city business on the weekends. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anything further? Council?
No, it's not on this,
Okay.
but
Motion was made and seconded. All those in favor of the motion to get a report and recommendation from the city manager signify by saying aye. And the opposed, that motion carries. We move on. Council Mercia? Thank you very much. Thank you for coming down. Manager will be in touch with you and other business leaders in that corridor.
Mr. Mayor, while we're under suspension, I'd like to briefly add to the suspension of the rules to make a motion to declare Saturday, December 12th as Salvation Army Day in the city of Lowell.
Okay, motion by Councilor Mercia to suspend the rules and bring in a recommendation to make Saturday, December 12th, Salvation Army Radiothon Day in the city of Lowell. Seconded by Councilor Martin. Although, rules were suspended. You brought in the motion. Motion made by Councilor Mercia, seconded by Councilor Kennedy. All those in favor of that motion signify by saying aye. The motion carries. We will, I guess it is declared from here on out, and we'll get a proclamation, Councilor Mercia, on the motion.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
I'm trying to help you out. I'm just trying to say as much as I can, because I know you're
it's
losing your
not
voice.
easy for me to talk. But while I bring that motion forward. Saturday's a very important day for the Salvation Army. As you saw and heard the fire department here, the Chief Winwood and Larry Finn, the firefighters are going out in full brigade with their boots to collect for the Salvation Army. And so there's a radio telethon on WCAP, and people will be ringing the bell. So it's very, very important that people know that this is a very special day so that people can have a great Christmas. I will be at the Owl Diner with my daughter. You don't even have to get out of your car. We'll go right to your car like a drive-through. So there's many things that are happening. So thank you for that, Mr.
Okay, you be careful out there, Councilor Mercia. Anything further? And the radiothon is 6 to...
Till probably
4?
2 or whenever time they
2?
raise their
And then
money.
they usually just blow through and keep going.
I think the goal is $150,000 this year. And while we're under suspension, Mr. Mayor, if I could go right to the 9.1 under City Council motions. Oh, no, I'm sorry, point 9.2 about the report that is being done as it relates to the condition of the property at the
So this
farm.
is under motions, Councilor Mercia, motion by you, motion to suspend the rules to take an item out of order. Motion by Councilor Leahy, seconded by Councilor Kennedy. All those in favor of the motion to suspend signify by saying aye, and the opposed, motion passes. We'll take up item number 6, 9.2. 9.2.
Thank
And that motion is by Councilor Mercia. Requests city manager report on what is being done as it relates to the condition of property at the former Marchand Oil Company on the corner of Baldwin Street and Princeton Boulevard. Motion by Councilor Mercia. Do you get a second?
We have 2 people registered to speak.
Second by Councilor Rourke. Mr. Clerk, do we have registered speakers?
Edward Caulfield.
Mayor, welcome back to Council Chamber.
Edward Caulfield, 589 Princeton Boulevard. Mr. Mayor and members of the Lowell City Council, Manager Murphy and your staff, thank you for allowing me to speak on this issue. Before I do, I just want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy Hanukkah to the Jewish community. I have a petition here, Mr. Mayor, with 29 registered citizens of the city, and the headline of the petition is, "We, the undersigned, would like the city of Lowell to address the conditions that exist at the business located at 493 Princeton Boulevard. The property is in total disarray with no regards for the neighborhood." First and foremost, I want to thank Councilor Mercia for bringing this motion forward. She has...
Would you like to present that to the clerk, Mr.
Excuse
Mayor?
me?
Would you like to present those petitions? as
Councilor
filed?
Mercia has that petition.
Oh, you do? Okay.
I want to thank Councilor Mercia for bringing the motion forward, and she has a wonderful presentation for the members of the City Council and Manager Murphy. I would just like to add, Mr. Mayor, there is a point in time when you get so frustrated and aggravated, you draw a line in the sand. And you say, that's it, enough is enough. This business at the corner of Baldwin Street and Princeton Boulevard was once a neighborhood gas station where people would bring their cars for repairs, get some gas, get the oil change, and so forth. The new owner of this property has just turned it into a business you don't know what it is. Is it a used car lot? Is it a junkyard? Or is it a graveyard for dilapidated construction vehicles? This man brought in 40 yards of fill last spring. His intentions are to dig up the gas tanks and fill the gaping hole. And I just want to stress, make it perfectly clear, the intent of this motion is not to criticize or try to embarrass any city employees. in the inspectional department. I contacted the building commissioner last spring, and when he went up there, this man had removed the gas tanks, excavated the entire cement slab, and it was a mound of debris. And this man's intentions were to remove the gas tanks. And the building commissioner put a cease and desist order for him doing any further work. He was going to use all that cement and all this fill to fill in this large gap. I believe EPA should have been notified, and so forth and so on. This man does what he wants, when he wants, and he has no regards, no respect for anyone in the neighborhood, especially the abutters. And, you know, Mr. Mayor, this business would not be tolerated on Mammoth Road, Rogers Street, or Bridge Street, or any other neighborhood. I think we're very tolerant people in Middlesex Village. But when you come to a point where that fill has been sitting there since spring, through the summer, through the fall, now it's winter, and there was no top on this fill at all. No tarpaulin, nothing on this fill. But that's only one point. The entire piece of property, Mr. Mayor, is nothing but a junkyard for debris. There's a 255-gallon barrel, an oil barrel, that's laying out in the yard, along with, I just can't describe it to you. It's a disgrace. So I don't want to go on any further. I know Councilor Mercier has a great presentation. Plus, she has some pictures that will astonish this council. Thank you very much for the time. Thank you. Before I leave the podium, I just want to commend Manager Murphy, the council, and your staff. I cannot believe how many roads you have repaved and how many sidewalks you have rebuilt. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Caulfield. Another speaker, Mr. Clerk.
Penny Cartier.
Hi, I'm Penny Cartier. I live at 71 Laurier Street with my daughter and my physically disabled sister. 493 Princeton Boulevard. I was in touch with the city manager's office several times. Years ago, I made CDs of the pictures of everything that this man has there, junkyard. The city goes and they get him to clean it up halfway, but then after a couple of months, he goes back to his same old messes. Like Bud said, he has no respect for us, the butters. I even brought pictures, a CD, to the city manager's office about a month ago, and his secretary, Heather, was very nice, and she got in touch with the building inspector, and she sent them over there. From what I'm told, Cohallo gas station has pulled all the right permits, and the gas tank will be pulled out of the ground in December, and he can't cite him for anything. Let me tell you, I got more pictures than that. He was only supposed to sell 4 or 5 cars. There's like 20 on that lot. They're all over the place. But the building inspector thinks they're just there for repair. I know different. So you see some pictures there that I look at out my bedroom window. My neighbors would be here, but they have 2 little children that they have to babysit. And one of my other neighbors, he got called into working late tonight. So I've asked for years and years for help from the city. I've gotten some help, but again, like I said, if you're not on this man, the minute your back is turned, it's back to a junkyard. I bought a beautiful home in Lowell, right? And it was Marchand's Oil Company. It was kept up. It was nice. Now I live next to a junkyard, and it's really not fair. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you for coming down and speaking. Excuse me.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Council Mercy.
Thank you. This motion is focusing on a neighborhood concern an eyesore at the corner of Baldwin Street and Princeton Boulevard, the former Marchand Oil Company. Let me begin by saying without a doubt that I believe our city inspectors have done all they could to help. This motion is in no way pointing a finger or criticizing anybody in the department services for not performing their duties they have. I merely want answers to the questions that I will pose. And I did pass around some of the pictures, and it's unbelievable. It shows the mounds of dirt. It shows this woman, which she sees looking out her window. I wouldn't put up with it. These piles of dirt are there from gas storage tanks that were beneath the ground, and there also is a 255-gallon oil barrel that is still on the ground on their property, along with dirt. I wonder if the EPA knows about this. There is a residential home in the back, as if you can clearly see it in these pictures. There is also a park nearby, Hadley Park. I ask you, would you like to look out your window and see this clutter of debris? I don't know if you can see it on TV, but I wouldn't want to look out here. And I don't think anybody sitting here would like to look out and see that either. In Belvedere, where I live, it wouldn't be there for 10 minutes. In the second picture, there is a forklift. It has been there for 5 months. I don't know if anybody can see this or they're zooming in, but I'm going to show it to the other side. This business is a disgrace to this neighborhood in the city of Lowell, who is doing everything they can to clean up neighborhoods. This city is cleaning up neighborhoods. What happened here? I know that the business owner is in violation because fines have been levied against him. Perhaps to the sum is what I heard, around $6,000. It could be $1 million. He's still not paying, and we're still not collecting. He reminds me of NL. He reminds me of Pan Am, the railroad company. He fits right into this category. We can fine him $1 million. He's not going to pay. The message the neighbors and I are getting is that he is thumbing his nose up at us. And I don't know about you, but I don't like it. I don't like to be hoodwinked, as Tassi Pulius used to say. Here's my question. With the many cars he has in his parking lot, is this an official used car lot? Is it a construction site, or is it a junkyard for car parts? If it's a junkyard, is it zoned for that? Does he have a special permit set up for a used car lot? I want to know the answers to these questions because I just don't understand. If so, why wasn't one of the conditions or stipulations issued to clean up the dirt on your property first before we issued him a permit? Why didn't we do that? Why wasn't this done first? You want something, we'll give you something, but you better do something and make this look clean. I can't believe the pictures of that lady looking out the window and looking at that. Many used car lots in the city. There's many used cars lots, and they're clean and neat. You can go down Chelmsford Street, see a number of used cars lots. Very appealing, very nice. This dump is not, and I would like something done. Finding him is not working. Tanner Street looks like Rockefeller Center compared to this dirt pile dump. When the city orders him to make it neat, he moves cars around to the other side of the lot, and he makes it appear that he is trying to be in compliance, and he is not in compliance, and he is not fooling the neighbors, and he's not fooling me. If inspectional services needs rules with more teeth, then let's start chewing, because here is the deal, in my personal opinion. You won't pay your fines, you won't clean up your property. Well, we all need to follow rules and live by regulations. If you won't follow the rules, our motto should be that until you comply with the law, we will not provide city services until you do. And I don't think I have to spell that out to let you know what I mean by that. We hear the adage, see something, say something. Well, the neighbors and I saw something, and we're saying something. I know that the adage applies to crime, but but the eyesore in this neighborhood is a crime. I have a petition from the immediate neighbors. There's 29 signatures, as well as former city councilor and former mayor Edward Bud Caulfield, who asked me to present this motion. I want to submit this motion, this petition, along with the pictures from both Penny and the neighbors as part of the record. I think that I would ask you, please, let's come up with a solution to this dilemma. Put yourself in those people's places. I wouldn't want to look out every day and see that dump. So I'm presenting 29 signatures. I'm going to present these pictures, but I want my colleagues on this side to see them.
In one of the pictures, you'll see a metal storage container, really decrepit looking. He rents that out. People store stuff in there. And I really need that. I don't want to look at that, right? Like I said to Heather, the city manager's secretary, would you want to look at that? No, she says. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you, Council Mercia. Anything further on this motion? Motion was made and seconded. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Any opposed? That motion passes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Council. So that concludes, we'll go back to the regularly scheduled agenda. That item is, and we, 5.1, right, Mr. Clerk? So we'll go back to communications from the city manager, and this is motion responses. And we have motion response A through C. So we'll address the first one, motion response A, and that's improvement opportunities for city neighborhood commercial corridors. Councilor Samaras?
Thank you, Mayor Elliott. I want to thank the city manager and Diane Tredd, Assistant City Manager Diane Tredd, for this report. This is an important report for the neighborhood business districts and the neighborhood associations, because the enhancement that this report speaks to only lead to a better neighborhood or a better community. So, Mr. Manager, could you, Assistant City Manager Diane Tredd, just speak to what this outlines?
Mr. Manager?
Yes, obviously downtown Lowell is always a major concentration for us and promoting the businesses there, but we also realize that there are a number of neighborhood businesses across the city that are thriving. We heard of one earlier. Couple Square is a thriving neighborhood business district. Rogers Street, Lakeview Avenue, Mammoth Road, Gorham Street. These are thriving neighborhood business corridors that need attention also. So what we've done is we have started a plan. It began with Couple Square to improve that neighborhood business corridor, and we look forward to continuing across the city. We have given examples in this report, like on Gorham Street, how we could help out the businesses from the new dollar store down and probably continue up Gorham Street. You could do the same thing on High Street in that neighborhood business area. So we're looking to commit funds in the future to make sure that we promote business groups outside of downtown also.
Well, actually, when you talk about committing funds, you also talk about taking it from regular funds, that it's not speaking about new taxes to do these enhancements. But also, could you just speak to some of the enhancements that we're talking about so people will better understand what will happen in these areas?
Well, basically, what we do is we go through these different neighborhood business corridors with all the different departments in the city, and we have them survey the neighborhood business corridor to see what improvements they need. For example, sidewalks may need to be repaired. Trash barrels may need to be placed in the corridor to make it a clean area. Facade improvements to the different businesses to ensure that the business looks better. All of these things, and we make a laundry list of what improvements can be made to that district, and then work with that business group to make them come to fruition.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Council, anything further on motion response A? Council Malazzo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I appreciate the response from the city manager's office, but just to follow up on the coordination of funds that you have in the report, I would also recommend you sit on the executive committee of the Lowell Development of Financial Corporation. I would suggest that they provide us some funds in the neighborhood business district as well. So if you don't mind following up with the LDFC, I think that would actually complement this, this information as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Council. Anything further on motion response A? Seeing none, we'll move on to motion response B. Council Rourke.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you to the city manager. Mr. Mayor, I was reading the response. I'm actually a little confused by it. It says in the second paragraph that there are no authorized bus stops anywhere on Varnum Ave. But there are, there are multiples, like over half a dozen stops.
But in this area, is my understanding. Lisa, can you come up and just address that?
Is the mayor?
Within city ordinances, there's a section that lists the bus stops that have already been approved by the council. There's no entry whatsoever for Varnum Ave in either direction, inbound or outbound. So wherever the buses are stopping now have never been authorized by the city council.
On Varnum Ave?
On Varnum Ave, there's no listing whatsoever in the city ordinances for a bus stop on Varnum Ave.
But there are stops. There are stop
They
signs.
stop there, but there's no authorized bus stops.
I mean, there are LRT signs that bus stop signs.
Yes.
Okay, so
I think in the point of the motion, though, even though they may have put up the signs, basically what we believe is that area of Varnum Ave needs a legitimate bus stop. Probably the area that is in right now isn't the safest place to be because of the bend in the road there. But what we want to do as part of this report is to look into an area of right around that area in Varnum Avenue to set up a crosswalk or a bus stop and make sure that it's handicapped accessible for all the people who are going to use that bus stop also.
yeah, so and I'm looking at them, and I'm sure the mayor can speak to this as well. There's not, I don't think, one spot on Varnum Ave that has handicap accessibility, even though those bus stops are there. So I guess out of curiosity, how can bus stop signs be put up if none of them are approved?
I'm not even sure who put the sign up, whether it was the LRTA or if it was the sign shop here. They've been up so long, I have no idea who put them up.
So I guess something to look at, right? 'Cause like I said, taking Varnum Ave every day back and forth, I mean, there's got to be multiple, double-digit stops at certain points of time in the morning and in the afternoon. So how do we just, does it come before us, we vote that those stops can be put in?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. Well, what we did is, if you look at the downtown, we actually changed the bus stop that the LRTA used to have on the intersection of Merrimack and John Street, and we were able to do that, but we brought it before the council on ordinance. So what we're saying is we're now going to work with the LRTA out on Varnum Ave to set up bus stops that are in safe places. They probably just went out and put the signs there themselves where most of the people stand waiting for the bus, but that doesn't mean it's the best place to be. And that's what we want to work on with the Varnum Ave, especially around Olane Street.
Yeah, I think that spot was given to the council because of the Westminster Village. And then there's a huge number of kids for both. I mean, school buses stop there too, right?
Yes, exactly. But we don't think it's the safest spot to be in, but we're going to be looking, and we'll work with the LRTA to establish a legitimate, safe bus stop right from Westminster Village.
Okay, and then just getting back to the Varnum Ave as a whole, so you're going to look at the whole area from the hospital down to Tingsboro line?
Yes, and we're going to look why, who put up the signs? Was it the LRTA, and why did they pick that particular spot? And let's make sure that we're getting spots that are safe for the people on Varnum Avenue.
Okay, so possibly there could be more than one crosswalk in that area then?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Manager. Thank you.
Thank you. So the report, I appreciate the report. It's an accident waiting to happen. There's a lot of people that cross over. What happens is on the outbound, they stop, they drop people using the bus. We want them to use the bus, and then they cross the street. It's on a dangerous bend. People have a habit of just going around the buses, not school buses, and something's going to happen, which was sort of the impetus behind Councilor Rourke and myself in the past filing a motion. So in the interim, knowing, I know there's a cost for sidewalks and handicap access, but it's significant. But in the meantime, is there an interim remedy? Because as Councilor Rourke mentioned, it's school buses as well. It's not just the LRTA. Something in the meantime between now and the time this study is conducted, that's what the recommendation is, to improve the conditions out there?
The first two things that I think I would recommend is when you're traveling outbound, the buses stop on the further corner of Aline, which is exactly where the bend in the road is. So
They
we
stop
would
right at Aline, right?
we would recommend that they stop at the corner just before Aline instead, so they're a little bit before the curve. But also, I would like to see that the bus wait and have everybody cross in front of the bus. What I witnessed when I was out there was everyone's crossing behind the bus as the bus pulls away. So the bus itself is creating a barrier to visibility for the cars coming the other way. And so everybody's in the street before the oncoming cars even see them because the bus itself has blocked the view. If people cross in front of the bus, everybody coming at them will see the pedestrians. So those two quick recommendations I would make, that they move to the other side of Aline and the buses wait and let the pedestrians go in front of them.
So it's just, I appreciate, Councilor Marcia, I do appreciate this because there are more people from that complex that are using public transportation. And I think it's important that we get ahead of this before something happens. Councilor Marcia, then Councilor Leahy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I was always under the belief that the LRTA did away with the bus stops, and their policy was that if they saw someone flag down a bus, it didn't have to be a bus stop. They would stop and pick up the passenger. That's the way that I understood it to be.
Can we make that part of our report as well, get a clarification on that? Councilor Leahy, then Councilor Kennedy.
Sure, I just wanted to add, when we do the study of Varnum Ave, across from Ursula Street, there's a pole there. They took the sign down 3 years ago. We requested that the bus stop be terminated, but they left the pole there. So maybe that can be taken out too. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Kennedy?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, through you to the manager. So this report, the next report that you're going to do will include who put the signs up. Was it the LRTA or the city? And then what occurred to me is that maybe Varnum Ave is not the only place where that happened. There might be, we could have signs up all over the place, right? If they're on Varnum Ave, then they could be in along several other roadways too that are unauthorized. It's hard for me to understand how the LRTA would just go put those signs up without somebody saying it was okay to do. But I can imagine that if it was done a long time ago, that maybe it could have happened that way, and that they've been there just for several decades. I'm not sure. But anyways, I'd be interested in the answers to those two questions in the report.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Rourke?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Manager. Just one more quick point. The corner of Tottenham and Varnum Ave, with a little strip mall there's got to be 25, 30 kids that get the bus right at that corner. So if you could just look at the possibility of a crosswalk there too, I think that'd be a great assistance to the neighborhood. Thank you.
Okay, got your work cut out on this, Mr. Manager, but thank you. We appreciate it. Safety is an issue. Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor of that? No, it is not. Excuse me. That completes the report on item motion response B. Move on to motion response C, the status of Mark 1 company. Question, Councilor Leahy?
No, thank you. I just want to thank the manager. So the poles have been up, and I guess they're starting to install the chain link. And I assume they're going to put blockers. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I got a few calls from the neighborhood, and they're very pleased. So thank you for continuing your efforts on that. Thank you.
Further discussion on motion response C? Seeing none, that concludes motion responses. Motion to accept these reports as report of progress and place on file by Councilor Belanger, second by Councilor Kennedy. All those in favor of that motion signify by saying aye. And the opposed, that motion carries. That completes 5.1. We'll move on to 5.2, another communication from the city manager requesting out-of-state travel for one individual from the Lowell Police Department and one individual from the Lowell Fire Department. Move to approve by Council Kennedy, second by Council Leahy. Discussion on this item? Council Leahy?
Just a quick question. So one already happened though, right? So we're gonna just review that, okay. And then, okay, that was it. Thank you.
Motion made?
Yep. made.
Motion made and seconded. Roll call.
Counsel Belanger.
Yes.
Mayor Elliott.
Yes.
Counsel Kennedy.
Yes.
Counsel Leahy.
Yes.
Counsel Martin.
Yes.
Counsel Mercia.
Yes.
Counsel Milonazo.
Yes.
Counsel Rourke.
Yes.
Counsel Samaras.
Yes.
That's 9 yeas.
Ayes, motion carries. Move on to the next item. It's item section 6. We have votes from the city manager. There's first vote is to appropriate $70,000 to purchase tasers for the police department. This requires 2 readings. Second reading, order to appropriate additional funding to purchase tasers for the police department, ordered by the City Council of Lowell that the amount of $70,000 be hereby appropriated from training receipt reserves to police equipment account. Ordered recommended by and introduced City Manager, Kevin Murphy, City Manager. Further discussion on this motion? Councilor Kennedy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you to the manager. 70,000, how many tasers does that buy?
Mr. Manager?
Could I ask the superintendent of police to address that question?
Yes. Thank you. That's going to be 60 tasers, Council.
And so how is that going to work? I mean, who's getting those tasers?
They'll be available to all the sworn members of the department. We'll divide them up, and there'll be a large pool of them that will be available for officers to sign out at the beginning of their shift, or if they have a particular detail assignment. Some of them will also be put into a traffic unit. Some of them will be made available for a couple of different detective units. That's how we intend to break them out. My plan is, over the next couple of years, as we generate more funds and are able to save some more money, to continuously buy more of them. They're very expensive to buy on an individual basis until we gradually get to the point where we can give a individual taser to each officer.
So they're about like 1,100 a piece or something like that?
They are about 1,100. Then there's also an additional cost for training cartridges and other associated costs, and that's what makes up the funds.
Is there like a little recharger unit or something like that?
There's batteries. There's also the cartridges that actually, project the prongs out.
Okay, and does this include training?
There's a training component also. That's right. And that's everybody, every sworn member of the department will have to go through a minimum of an eight-hour course, one-day course in training that we'll do sometime in the winter to spring.
Has anybody done that training yet?
We're in the process of developing train the trainers, so we've identified a group of individuals. I think it's probably going to be in the 10 range of officers that we'll send to a 3-day course to get they'll be able to come back and do the training of our own officers in-house.
Okay. So these tasers, they'll stay at the police station? Is that like with the recharger pack, or how does it?
That's right.
Police officers going to be able to take them home?
No, not typically, no. That's not the plan at this point until we can get more of them and then issue them.
So at the end of your shift, when you bring your vehicle in, you put the taser into the recharger or something, or hand it off to the next person that would get in the...
We've already purchased a lock secure system so that in a particular office where the officers come in and out and get their keys and submit their paperwork, that's where they'll be stored. And so they'll be stored in a locked container. When the officers go out at the beginning of their shift, a sergeant will accompany them, issue the taser, record the documentation of which individual taser goes to each officer, and then they'll obviously reverse that process at the end of their shift.
If you had more resources available, how many tasers would you need to?
Well,
that'd be enough for everybody.
245 at this point.
But everybody doesn't need them 24/7, right? I mean, if you're in your cruiser, and if I'm in a cruiser and I've got it for 8 hours, then I can give it to you, and you can do the next date, and then somebody else can do the next date. So we all don't need our own taser, right?
Well, most organizations gradually get to the point where they issue each officer a taser, so the officer has the taser available to him for details, and, you know, police officers are on duty 24/7. Essentially, the configuration you talk about is the way we're going to do it. The officer goes in, takes the taser, goes out on his patrol activities, whether it's in a cruiser or walking, bicycle or whatever. Then at the end of the shift, they'll put it back in this container. It'll be reissued right away. And then there'll be additionally, you know, we probably might need, let's say, 30 or so, 35 of them on an individual shift. But then depending on the circumstances and the number of officers, that's why we'll have additional ones available.
Okay. And so if we vote for this appropriation this evening and then you do the training over the winter, then when would the officers have the tasers?
As quickly as possible. I'd like to have them out deployed sometime in the winter. They're a very valuable resource for the police department, so I intend to do it very quickly.
When you say sometime in the winter, you mean before March?
You know, I think in the March range is probably realistic. We have to put together a schedule everybody has to go through an 8-hour course. In addition, once we get to this point, we can solidify the purchase of them. We have to have our policy approved by the state, the EOPS, Executive Office of Public Safety. So we're in the process of formalizing that policy, and then they'll approve it. Then we can do the training. So I would say the March timeframe is probably good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Chief. We have Council Martin and Council Belanger.
Thank you, Chief.
Sure.
We've never tried this before. These will be the first ones, the first tasers that we've had issued in the department. We haven't used this before.
No, that's correct. This will be the first time we've used them in the city of Lowell.
So you say they're valuable. Is this because it's an alternative to, more deadly force? Or?
Yes, that's correct, Counselor. What we specifically believe is that the use of this system in the city will reduce the incidents where officers are required to use deadly force. I think at the subcommittee meeting where we discussed this, I talked about an incident we had in downtown Lowell in June where a mentally challenged individual had brandished a large knife, and he was threatening a postal worker, and then he turned his attention to police officers. So my officers had him surrounded in a very congested, mid-afternoon, a lot of people around. He had a very large knife, and he was assaultive towards the officers. The officers were literally probably seconds away from having to use deadly force, unfortunately, in this situation. Luckily, a Park Service ranger appeared on the scene. He had access to a taser issued to him by the National Park Service, and he was able to use the taser to successfully disable this individual and take the knife away from him. So that was a very successful use of it. That individual now is receiving mental health treatment instead of, if the alternative would have been, we probably would have had to shoot that individual, unfortunately. So you can see in that instance, it's very valuable. It also reduces injuries to the suspects, as I've already indicated, and it over the course of history of this device, it's also been shown to significantly reduce the injuries to police officers by suspects, and then the associated litigation. It reduces the litigation costs for the city in terms of our use of force.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you, Council. Council Belanger.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do commend Chief Taylor on his efforts on this. I think these tasers are going to be certainly an asset to the men and women on the streets here in the city of Lowell. But Mr. Mayor, through you to the chief, I'm just wondering, was grant funding obtained or sought after on this, Chief? And also, can it be used in the future toward others? Or?
No, it was not, Councilor. We certainly will look into that. Typically, this isn't something that grants could be used for. But I certainly will continue to explore that as we continue to want to get more. Where we were able to get this $70,000, which makes up a significant portion of the funds I need, we were able to use our training account. We train a lot of out-of-town police officers at our training center over the course of the year, and we generate a small income from that every year. If we are, conservative with our expenditures, which we have been, we can generate small additions to that. And over the course of several years, that money's been accumulated. As I said, we've been very, frugal with those funds. And so, as a benefit, we're able to purchase this weapon system, the less than lethal system for the city without utilizing the taxpayers' money.
Very good, Chief. Very good use of funds. I think that would be the closest thing to grant funding. Great job. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilor. Further to Councilor Mercia.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think this is an excellent motion to support this because I always wondered when a police officer shot someone, why didn't they shoot him in the leg or the arm? And sometimes they die. So, and there are people out there, I know it's hard to believe, death by officer. This way here, I'd rather see him flopping around like a fish out of water than to be dead. So I think this is a very, very good motion because this is something the police need. And this suspect will not be dead. So that's a good one.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Leahy.
Thank you.
And then Councilor Milanese.
Through you to the chief. Can we use money that, like seizure money or to buy these instead of using your training money?
Well, actually, Councilor, the total cost of this is about $124,000. So 70 of it is coming from the training account. 34,500 is coming from the seizure account, and 20,000 is coming from another account that we can allocate money to it. So we've taken a combination of funds.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Milanese.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you to the superintendent. I know that the school resource officers do take their weapons into the school. Do you see tasers being brought into the schools as well? You don't?
No. Okay. Very unlikely. As a matter of fact, it's the policy that we are looking at that's pretty much the industry standard across the Commonwealth would, in most cases, prohibit the use of it against a juvenile. So,
okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilor. Further questions for the chief? Motion to approve by Councilor Leahy, seconded by Councilor Martin. Roll call.
Council Belanger.
Yes.
Mayor Elliott.
Yes.
Council Kennedy.
Yes.
Council Leahy.
Yes.
Council Martin.
Yes.
Council Mercia.
Yes.
Council Milanese.
Yes.
Council Rourke.
Yes.
Council Samaras.
Yes.
9 yeas. That transfer for tasers, appropriation of transfers for tasers is approved. Move on to the next vote. This is a vote to authorize the city manager to execute a lease at 72.1 Fowler Road with Mill City Grows Incorporated for a term of 5 years. This requires 2 readings, a lengthy document. Motion to waive the full reading by Councilor Mercia, seconded by Councilor Milanese. All those in favor of that motion signify by saying aye. In the opposed, motion passes. Second reading by title. And City Council is a vote authorizing the city manager to execute a lease agreement for 5 years between the City of Lowell and Mill City Grows, Inc. for property at 72.1 Fowler Road and to execute all documents necessary for the lease of the property. Move to approve by Councilor Rourke, seconded by Councilor Samaras. Further discussion on this vote? Seeing none, roll call.
Council Belanger.
Yes.
Mayor Elliott.
Yes.
Council Kennedy.
Yes.
Council Leahy.
Yes.
Council Martin.
Yes.
Council Mercia.
Yes.
Council Milanese.
Yes.
Council Rourke.
Yes.
Council Samaras.
Yes.
9 yeas.
9 yeas. Motion is approved. Lease is adopted. Thank you again,
Mayor?
Lydia, for all you do at Fowler Road. Councilor Leahy?
Sure. I just had a quick question. There's another piece of property over by the Lincoln School, through you to the manager. Are we working on that to do a garden over there too, do you know?
Yes, we're in the process of finalizing that so that they can do a community garden there also.
Okay, thank you.
Students, yes.
Thank you, Councilor. So we move on to the next item. Next item is another vote. And this vote is to apply, accept, and expend $30,000 from Mass DEP SMRP grant, Sustainable Material Recovery Program. Motion to waive the full reading by Councilor Belanger, seconded by Councilor Kennedy. All those in favor signify by saying aye, and the opposed. Motion carries as well. Second reading by title. Commonwealth of Massachusetts City Lowell in City Council is a vote authorizing the city manager to apply for, accept, and expend funds in the form of 2 grants from Mass DEP Sustainable Materials Recovery Program, totaling $30,000 for use in the City of Lowell Recycling Program, administered through the Department of Public Works. Discussion on this item? Motion to approve by Councilor Kennedy, seconded by Councilor Leahy. All those in, roll call.
Counsel Belanger.
Yes.
Mayor Elliott.
Yes.
Counsel Kennedy.
Yes.
Counsel Leahy.
Yes.
Counsel Martin.
Yes.
Counsel Mercia.
Yes.
Counsel Milonazo.
Yes.
Counsel Rourke.
Yes.
Counsel Samaras.
Yes.
9 yeas.
9 yeas. And last, now we'll move on to section 7. This is orders from the city manager. We have an order for a 60-day trial. Motion to waive the full reading on this as well by Council Martin, second by Council Mercia. All those in favor of that motion signify by saying aye, and the opposed, motion passes. Second reading by title, and City Council is in order. Pursuant to Chapter 266 of the Code of Ordinances, City of Lowell, Lowell, Massachusetts, concerning Section 266-6 thereof entitled Temporary Experimental Regulations, temporary traffic regulations are hereby implemented for a period of 60 days. God bless you. Motion to approve by Council Milonazo, second by Council Samaras. Further discussion on this? Seeing none, roll call.
Counsel Belanger.
Yes.
Mayor Elliott.
Yes.
Counsel Kennedy.
Yes.
Counsel Leahy.
Yes.
Counsel Martin.
Yes.
Counsel Mercia.
Yes.
Counsel Milonazo.
Yes.
Counsel Rourke. Counsel Samaras.
Yes.
8 yeas.
Yeas, one absent, motion passes. That concludes orders from the city manager. We'll move on to reports, subcommittee reports. Any subcommittee reports? No subcommittee reports this evening. Councilor Belanger?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just would like to inform my colleagues and the folks at home that there will be a Substance Abuse Subcommittee meeting next Tuesday, the 15th at 5:30, right here.
Thank you, Council. Council Milonazo?
Thank you. I did receive a notice from the clerk that the motion regarding an arts festival in the downtown was referred to the cultural subcommittee. I just don't know if it would be the wish of this council to hold it over until next year. I don't think there's a time issue that it could possibly be put over till next. Again, I'd be happy to call a meeting between now and the end of the year, but I just don't see the urgency, so I just wanted to inform the council.
Okay. What is the wish of the body? To just wait till the next council?
Yes.
Sure, no objection? Sounds good. I don't think we require a motion? No. Okay. I will report the task force on the opiate epidemic had its inaugural meeting this evening. I would like to get the minutes and report back to the council at the following meeting, if that's okay, so we can get a comprehensive, I will say it was a good meeting. The first meeting was very productive, and a lot of good discussion took place. There were some initiatives that the chief is going to roll out with the city manager at the beginning of the year that I think will be cutting edge. There's a lot of work already being done in the school. Those are the two areas of prevention and treatment that are certainly ripping through this community. Prevention. The superintendent, along with the headmaster, will be attending the Substance Abuse Subcommittee to bring the city an update on what's taking place in the school so far and how those efforts will be ramped up. So there was some good discussions about funding issues and a lot of good initiatives. So I'll bring that formal report in at the next meeting. 2 items, they're not subcommittee reports, but we did receive a communication from the city manager regarding an evaluation that he has requested on his performance here as city manager. So I'd like to entertain a motion to refer that to the Personnel Subcommittee by Councilor Milonazo, second by Councilor Belanger, to initiate that process. Further discussion on that? All those in favor of that motion signify by saying aye, and the opposed. That motion passes as well. Just one other item. I know we all have been receiving, I thought it was important in the interest of time. We received a number of emails relative to the Pine Arts School. I know the manager is aware of it, and there was quite a list of action items and recommendations from people in the area, teachers, parents, that have been presented to the council. I thought in the interest of time that we could facilitate, certainly it went to you, Mr. Manager, but I don't know if we should refer it to a subcommittee or to the traffic engineer or the city manager. What is the wish of the body? Mr. Manager, do you want to just update us on?
Yes, I've reviewed this, this email that came in. Obviously, Sergeant Peasley has made a number of suggestions. I think it was my intention to sit down with Sergeant Peasley and the traffic engineer to see, to develop a plan to implement the strategy suggested by Sergeant Peasley. So it might be good to refer it to me, and then I'll come back with a report as to what should be done to implement this plan.
Okay, so motion to take that, the communication received by the council relative to the traffic and parking situation at the Pine Art School. Motion to refer that to the city manager to report back with a recommendation for implementation by Council Leahy, seconded by Council Martin. All those in favor of that motion signify by saying aye. And the opposed, motion carries. So that concludes reports and sort of other items as well. That brings us to City Council motions section of the agenda, section 9. First motion of the evening is by Councilor Mercia. Request City Council support naming the walkway at Centerville Veterans Memorial Park on an L Street, the Edward J. Chandonnet Jr. Walkway. Second by Councilor Milanazzo. Councilor Mercia.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. When I did the moment of silence for Edward J. Chandonnet Jr. this evening, I left this very important part out because I did not want to be repetitive, and I knew it was for the reason for this motion. I bring this motion forward because perhaps the proudest accomplishment by Mr. Chandonnet Jr. was his involvement in the creation and dedication of the Centerville Veterans Memorial Park. His colleagues thought that it would be a great honor and a display of thanks for all Ed's hard work in making sure that those who gave the ultimate sacrifice would not be forgotten, and they did not want to forget Ed by naming the walkway as the Edward J. Chandonnet Jr. Walkway at the main entrance of the park on an L Street. This is a tribute to Ed that is well-deserved. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Mercia. Further discussion on this motion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Next motion of the evening, we already disposed of 9.2. Next motion, 9.3. This is a dual joint motion between Councilor Mercia and Councilor Belanger. Request city manager find ways and means to put in a new sidewalks on Stedman Street from Westford to Canal Drive. No second necessary. Councilor Mercia.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Last week, Councilor Corey Belanger and I took part in response to the invitation that was sent from Acadia Healthcare / Habit Opco at Old Canal Drive in Lowell off of Stedman Street in Lowell. It was an invitation to elected officials, and a person representing United States Senator Ed Markey was there, along with a representative from Senator Donahue, State Rep Tom Golden, and State Rep Dave Nangel's office were there, and Roddy Mom was in attendance along with Assistant City Manager Michael McGovern. This meeting was an opportunity to see firsthand what the facility was all about. We had a very fine tour as to how their day-to-day operations start and end. It was very informative. We learned that the facility is open 7 days a week, and over 900 people take part in the program in some form or another. This program offers methadone and Suboxone. I suggested that they highlight the successes, but their response was that they have many, many clients with success stories, but they are embarrassed by what they did getting hooked on drugs, that they want to leave well enough alone and move forward, and I can understand that. There are prominent people on this program. We were told that, but no names were given to protect the clients. Within this room, there might be a client, but one would never even suspect it. UMass Lowell has clients that are enrolled in this program. It is not a facility that caters mainly to the poor and downtrodden. 60 to 70% are Lowell residents and are within the ages of 28 to 45. Some of the reasons being on drugs range from family trauma, sports injury, to sexual abuse within the family. I know it may surprise you, but not everyone lives like the Cleaver family. My take from this tour was that this operational facility is saving lives. These are the people who want to get better, who want to be good parents, who want to do good in society. They want to get off drugs, and this way is a way it is helping them. These programs at this facility are saving lives. While we sat around the discussion table, everyone wanted to help. They told us that it was very costly to have a person at the foot of Stedman Street waiting for the LRTA bus to arrive on Westford Street and then call on their walkie-talkie to send the shuttle bus down. This order was stipulated in the permit. If only they had sidewalks, they could spend that money on the services for their clients instead of where it's going now. I did talk to James Scanlon for great lengths, and he could not help but tell me how sorry he was, but it would be costly for him, even more so, to go up to the door, to have that bus go up to the door. He has driven up there a number of times and timed it. Everybody along that bus route, it's a half an hour interval, and everyone along that route would be put out on account of it. They would not be on time. Their schedule would be thrown off, and it would infuriate the people along the bus route. He would have to look for another bus. That is the purpose of this motion, to find ways and means to have at least try to put our state and federal delegations' feet to the fire and come up with some money to get sidewalks in an expense that they could save. I know that this is a very expensive proposition. I know you probably have figures. I know what the cost would be. There's a lot of waste in government, people say, but if it were put to this project, it would be for the betterment of many. Let me lastly say that on looking on this issue as a whole, and the stipulation to run a shuttle service for the safety of the clients was nothing more than targeting discrimination, and it was very unfair and unjust. We can put stipulations on this facility that's saving lives, but we can't put stipulations on a junkyard on Princeton Boulevard. It was merely another way of trying to stop this facility from being there or in our city altogether. Isn't it strange that people that work along the route get off at the bottom of Stedman Street and they are allowed to walk up the street without a sidewalk, and their company does not need a shuttle bus to bring them to the job? But what about their safety? Their safety is just as important too, but we don't look at that. South Bay Mental Health does not need to provide this service, and they're right up the street as well. If everyone wants to help wherever they can for the good of these people being helped by getting clean, then let our elected officials put their money where their mouth is and find ways and means to give us the money to get the sidewalks to this facility, which I know that is never going to happen. I'm not that naive to think that they're going to be taking a load of money and giving it to us for the sidewalks there. Either they do that or remove that stipulation, because it's a matter of fairness, and it isn't fair. That's all I have to say with this motion.
Thank you, Council. Further discussion? Council Belanger on this motion?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I won't be repetitive. Council Mercer spoke very elegantly. Just to reiterate her concerns that, I dealt with this issue literally for almost 2 years prior to getting elected. And there was several concerns there about the patients walking up and down on the street, and sure enough, they still persist to this day. And the facility's been there almost 2 years, and still nothing's really been done. And I recall when it was approved, I wasn't on the board at the time, but there was a condition more or less that They were to work with LRTA, and the LRTA was to provide adequate busing to that facility from Westford Street due to the fact that there was no sidewalks. Now, luckily, there's been no real issues to speak of. I knocked on doors a few minutes prior to the meeting, and all going against the stigma of recovering addicts, the neighboring businesses included junkyards, stores, salons. They really had no issues to speak of this facility being there. But safety is still a concern for these patients. They are seen still going up and down the street. Again, luckily, there's been no accidents, but we don't know what the future holds. So, Mr. Manager, if you could research the cost of a sidewalk on one side and how and if we could get this achieved, or perhaps work with the LRTA and Acadia. They do have shuttles going back and forth, but just to minimize as much as humanly possible the foot traffic, pedestrian traffic going from Westford Street to the facility would be great in any way we can. So I look forward to that report, Mr. Manager. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Council. Further discussion on this motion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. And the opposed, motion passes. Moving on to the next motion. Next motion of the evening is by Councilor Samaras. Request City Manager have appropriate staff assess the reliability of the traffic light at the corner of 4th Avenue and Mammoth Road for pedestrian traffic. Second by Councilor Rohr. Councilor Samaras?
Thank you, Mayor Elliott. These Pawtuckaville neighborhood group spoke to their concerns regarding this particular traffic light, that the buttons do not work properly and it's a safety hazard. But during the discussion, Mr. Manager, I could also request that you ask the Superintendent of Police to probably put a cruiser in that area. Their concern not only is the buttons not always working properly, but that when there is a red light, people are just going through the red light. One of the people that were present at this particular meeting spoke of stopping at the stoplight because it was a red light and having a car go around him to get through the traffic. So that would indicate that there's some problems in that area. So if Chief Taylor could be made aware of that also. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Further discussion on that motion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. And the opposed, motion passes. We already disposed of 9.5, so we'll move to 9.6. 9.6 is a joint motion between Council Samaras and Council Belanger. Request City Manager send a letter of thanks on behalf of the City Council to John Powers, in keeping with the holiday spirit of lighting, the lighting of the smokestack at the One Lancet Mills. No second necessary. Council Samaras and Council Belanger.
Thank you, Mayor Elliott. Regarding this, John Powell has certainly proven that he is a good citizen of Lowell. He's probably the largest taxpayer in Lowell, if not, one of them. But he has spent a good deal of money on decorating that smokestack, and it's really a sight that many people from the surrounding areas come to see. And he's also talked to other business owners to do the same thing with their smokestacks. Just think of what Lowell could be if, I believe there's 6, maybe 7 major smokestacks, that if they could be decorated like this would certainly increase people coming to the city. But I would request, Mr. Manager, that you send a thank you letter signed by yourself and this city council, and if possible, frame that letter and present it to him as a good citizen of Lowell. I think when people do things like this, we have to acknowledge that. And I think this would be a way of acknowledging the good work of a lot of people that do these type of things in this city. That's what I'd like to see. Thank you.
Thank you, Council. Council Belanger?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, Councilor Samaras, not only with this motion, I appreciate his efforts, he also tried to spearhead an effort with Mr. Power to light all the other smokestacks throughout the city. I think was very thoughtful and would have had a great result, but unfortunately the cost of these things, it didn't get too far, but I do appreciate a supreme effort on getting that, trying to get that achieved as well. But, I think an act like this, extremely high cost of what Mr. Power did, and he continues to light it up every year, is a very commendable act here in the city, and one we should, and I know we do appreciate, but I would like to just put it on paper and send Mr. Power a certificate of appreciation in the city of how much we do appreciate it. I think he would like that, probably put it on his mantle, his bookcase in his office, and realize that the city of Lowell does appreciate what he does, and so I think that'd be great if we go ahead and do that, Mr. Mayor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilor. Further discussion on this motion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, and the opposed, motion passes. Move on to 9.7, motion by Councilor Belanger, request City Council send a letter to the state delegation in support of Governor Baker's measures to allow doctors to involuntarily hold drug addicts for 72 hours without a warrant and placing a 72-hour limit on first-time prescription for opioid painkillers. Second by Councilor Kennedy. Councilor Belanger?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, Governor Baker, back on October 15th, filed legislation for these two measures against this crisis on opiate addiction. And I think it's important that the city being hit very, very hard as we continue, recent statistics show that, we continue to beat very hard, that I think there's very much a need for an addict who gets overdoses all too often, 2 and 3 times in a day now I'm talking, that is just free to walk out, overdose again, and then return back. These individuals, should go directly to a treatment facility, not a jail cell now, to a treatment facility, rather than back on the street. So I think that's what the governor is trying to achieve. It's also going to have to be backed up with funding for treatment facilities and beds for these individuals at the same time, and I'm thinking that's what's going to be achieved. But I think it's, in all likelihood, something that we should be supporting, because the city is, again, there are all too many stories, and we're going to see next Tuesday night, of the repeat offenders, often in the same day, that are overdosing, and this will help curb that. So I think being to the level Lowell's been hit, that it's very important that we support this measure, along with the prescription opiate painkillers for first-time prescribers that, I'm not in legislation, obviously, but they'll fine-tune that where people with chronic painful illnesses aren't deprived of their medication. But nonetheless, if a tooth pill or a small injury, you should not be going home with 30, 40, or 50 pills, and that which is going on now. So these two, I think, are very, very important in the fight against opiate addiction, and also I think Lowell should be standing behind. So I ask for my colleagues' support on this, and a letter to the delegation of Governor Baker's measures. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Council. Further discussion on this motion? Seeing none, all those in favor of that motion signify by saying aye, and the opposed, motion passes. Next motion of the evening is a motion by Councilor Belanger. Request City Manager update the City Council regarding the status of the trolley system in the city. Second by Councilor Leahy. Councilor Belanger.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It was several months ago. It was a presentation I think most of us were at of basically a revolutionary trolley system that would take certainly some time and money, but that would literally connect the whole city. And we're not talking just the downtown now. We're talking the university, to Western Avenue Studios, to the train station, to the downtown, and be a rotating form of transportation, which I think would help economic development. I think it would help it tenfold. So I'm just wondering the status on that through you, Mr. Mayor, to the manager. How far, I understand we were close to a feasibility study being complete, if it's not already complete. But very curious to see how this has transpired, because there's no doubt in my mind this would help our city in many, many ways. So we're obviously hoping for the best. I'm sure it's very costly. There's no doubt about that. But nonetheless, something we need to try and achieve. So I look forward to, with approval, Mr. Manager, I look forward to your response. Thank you.
Oops, sorry about that. Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, and the opposed, motion carries. Next motion of the evening is by myself. I'd like to ask Council Leahy to come up here, if you could, for a moment.
Next motion of the night, 9.9, by Mayor Elliott. Request City Council discuss ordinance to ban replica guns in the city. Seconded by Councilor Mercia. Mayor Elliott.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. So, this motion, we all know guns, they're the biggest problem on our streets, not just here in Lowell, but across the nation, and it's becoming worse. It's becoming more prevalent. So the reason why I filed this motion, I know the city of Boston is looking into this because we have some of the most strict gun laws in the country, and we just see recently that sometimes they just don't work. So my concern is that these gun replicas, whoever is possessing them, they're not playing. They're not just playing games with them. To me, they're being used for a reason. So what I don't want are officers who are protecting the city, protecting the streets. They're making split decisions. They're trained to respond in a particular manner when they see guns or knives or suspicious activity. The concern is that now they have to think about whether this is a real gun or it's not a real gun. I did speak to the chief of police here in the city. He wholeheartedly supports it. I'd look for his input when this does come up for discussion again. But I think it's important for us to protect our police officers as well, that they don't have to second guess themselves. If it's on a dark road or a dark night, that is that a real gun? Is it not a real gun? So I think it's a real issue, and I'd like the manager to look into it and come back with a recommendation on an ordinance. You put yourself in the position of a police officer, whether you're on the beat, on a bicycle, or in a cruiser, whether you're working a detail at a bar or festivals or whatever the case may be. They're trained to respond, to act accordingly. And to me, the last thing we need to do is to have our officers, who we're giving the best technology, second guess or think twice about whether it's a fake gun or whether it's a real gun. I want them to say, if there's a gun, they see it, they respond, immediately and appropriately. So, that's the motion, the reason why I filed it, and look forward to a report from you, Mr. Manager. Thank you.
Is there any discussion? All right, can I just ask for clarification, though? It says discussion, not like a report, so I thought it was going to go to subcommittee for discussion, or
Well, I guess I would oppose amending it. I should have said discuss it and refer it to the city manager for a report and recommendation.
all right. Okay.
So if somebody wants to make that in the form of a friendly motion or amendment,
All right.
I think
So
that
make
definitely makes
amendment
more
to
sense.
Look for a report, seconded by Councilor Mercia. Okay. All right. All those in favor, say aye. All those opposed, motion passes. Thank you.
So just one last mention, Lowell High School will have a couple more of the winners that were not able to join us here this evening, join us next week. Anything further? Councilor Mercia?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As we're just going to leave, I think the City Hall looks very festive. All the decorations in here, someone had to put them up. All the wreaths and the snowflake that's lit up. It looks very, very festive in here. So I want to commend you and the city manager for the holiday party that took place in City Hall. All the departments, they stepped up to the plate. It was just so spectacular. We had so much to eat. Everybody was talking about it. It was just a delight. It was like being in a winter wonderland. And I will say the reason Susan LeMay won was because of that chocolate mousse cup that she gave out. That was so delicious. But it was just a great night. Everybody had fun, and it was just a delight. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Council. I think that's a very good mention. In the years past, the manager, everybody seemed to have their own functions prior to 2 years ago, and we just figured we'd get together and make it one big group effort, and it worked out. And to the people at home, taxpayers didn't pay for this. This was all made available by all the individual employees. So thank you, Councilor. Anything further before the council? That concludes our business. Motion to adjourn by Council Martin, seconded by Council Belanger. All those in favor of that motion signify by saying aye. And the opposed? This meeting stands adjourned.